So I think you could see that the EPS, right, was negative 220, but the previous year at the same quarter, it was minus 252. So it's a huge improvement, right? Not still not positive, but it's a huge improvement. Basically, it's a beat, right? Sales was beat as well. Previous year was 56,000 to this year was 1.3 million, right? So it's nice earnings over here. Um, and of course, they did have 20, they did achieve secure up to 20 million of financing, blah, 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 for equity line of credit, right? And also, the CEO saying that, hey, you know what? I don't think we should be delisted. The vegan still is still in high demand. And then, this thing was the reason why this thing, okay, that is not the reason why this ticker went to $17. All right, now let me just say again, that is not the reason why this thing went to $17. There is no news, no catalyst, nothing that will ever give you any sort of potential for a stock to go crazy, right? There is no news that will say that, oh, when this type of news drop means that this stock will go double digits from single digits. No. The only reason why this thing did this today could be a multitude of reasons. One of the reasons is because this was a previous SPAC name, number one. Number two, this thing this thing was a previous runner, right? This thing was a previous runner. It's a SPAC name. It's a low float. Daily average is not the highest. I mean, it's not the lowest. It's 3.9 million shares, so it's fine, right? But one of the reasons could be because this used to be a SPAC name, right? But it doesn't mean that every single play is going to turn out like that. This is something you guys have to understand. Okay, it's this is not so for example, right? We talk about BSLK being up a lot today, close to 800%, right? This is insane. But remember, again, always remember this, right? This does not happen on a day-to-day basis, right? This does not happen on a day-to-day basis. Now, we even have, let's say, someone was asking me earlier in main chat. I think his name was Stockaholic, right? Stockaholic, right? He said, "What made you or strategy did you use to find BSLK?" I'm in VIP, but don't like how most of them are 20% gains. I understand slower the better, but I use most of my capital on them and don't have any left for BSLK later plays in the day. Now, there is no remember, there is no strategy. Again, no catalyst, no strategy that tells you that a stock is going to go parabolic. Right? There might be some news that be like, oh, this is great news, that's high potential and whatnot. But remember, when we enter into today, right? When we enter into today, we had the mindset that things might be slow. We saw ATNF, recover and whatnot, but we had the mindset that things might be slow. So this is something you guys have to accept. Not did I say, we're gonna go to $17-$20 from initial entries? No. Right? I gave you guys a couple of entries over here. The first one was during pre-market, right? We popped up, but I had to close my position because we lost 350, which is my plan. And then after that, when it started looking good again, I told you guys to watch the 410 breakout, right? For an intraday breakout, you can see very clear cut. Played dip stop loss on the 380, and we got a beautiful move. But you see the fact that we popped to 466, I was already taking profits, right? From the dips, we popped to 466, I was already taking profits. And you cannot say stuff like, I don't like how most of them are 20% gains, because this is how the market is going to be like. Can you actually craft this sentence on Monday? You cannot. If tomorrow things go back to how it is on Monday, you're going to be super red, even though you're supposed to be green. Always base hits first, and then leave the rest for more. I keep telling you guys, right? Never underestimate what 20% of a position can do. And you guys can calculate it yourself. It's going to give you a lot more non-stress gains over here, right? Think about it. If your 20% left is, let's say, 50 shares, right? At maybe at 390, for example. Okay, the fact that this thing ran to $14, right? Or your average 390, you have 50 shares left. That's a $545 profits for you that you don't need to look for re-entries. You have your stop loss set. You're on and about on your day, right? You just come back and collect your profits. That's 20%. That's just 50 shares, by the way. 20% left, right? But the main part, the reason why is because you secure 80% of your position over here. So that if, let's say, this does not happen, okay, you'll still be green. Your 50 shares should not turn you red. Am I right? I mean, does it make sense? Your 20% position left, your 50 shares should not turn your trade red. It shouldn't. There is not enough weightage over here. So you should not have that mindset. All right. That's a very negative, that's not a good mindset to have just because you tell me, oh, BSLK made an amazing move, right? I want to be able to find plays like this so that I can put my money inside this instead of taking other plays. But nobody knew this was gonna happen. Nobody knew this was gonna happen. All right. And if let's say you keep waiting, right? You keep waiting to put your money inside a certain play, thinking that it might go 600% for the day. All right. And then the one play that you didn't put your money inside because you didn't trust it ended up being the 600% runner. What do? Do you chase it? Or do you be like, oh, what kind of strat do you find? My strategy stays the same, right? Whatever happens over here, okay, whatever happens over here is a byproduct of how you find your execution over here. And if let's say the breakout's smooth, and let's say if the setup is smooth, it's not choppy and whatnot, then you can enjoy the ride up. Right, but it all starts with this over here first. Can you guarantee me that tomorrow when you see a setup, you see a green candle, you're telling me this thing's gonna go to $17? Nobody will know. Right? You can only take it as it comes. So honestly, the fact that you see most of them at 20% gains, that's good enough. All right. This could have been a 20% gains too if it didn't move like that. But the fact that even if you hold 20% of your position left, it will still make you a lot of money, relatively speaking. And stress-free too. Don't forget about that. Okay. All right. So now not much to talk about today. I think we same thing, right? Very, very slow pre-market. We had some nice news, and I think you guys can start to see a new trend being formed, right? We didn't really have any sort of equity financing news right now. Honestly, okay, BSLK is sort of an equity financing news. Remember the Monday we had a run on EQ, right? We had a run on EQ that made this move over here, right, from 56 to 125. We had a run on Antol that had a similar sort of structure that went from see 1 second. That went from 37 to 78 cents, right? And then after that, right, this is what was causing the run to happen in pre-market and market open for a short while. And remember, after that, the rest of the day was just super lackluster. It was very, very slow, super lackluster. There wasn't anything going on. You guys remember that? You guys remember Monday? Do you guys remember that? And the only thing that really changed, right, the entire structure of everything is ATNF. But besides that, before that actually happened, right, nobody knew ATM was going to do that, right? What did we know? Before ATNF happened, what did we know? Remember, we cannot ever trade on hindsight. We cannot ever say stuff like, oh, if I did this, if I did that, because you'll never improve. You'll never, you will never get to anywhere because you'll always be sitting on that what if. So over here, we cannot assume that we knew, ATNF was going to do that, right? What was ATNF running on anyway? Let's see. It was running on the fact that it showed that it has plans to increase its Ethereum holdings and stuff like that, right? So that was it. It's nothing related to the news, but that's why I took X4. Remember yesterday? That's why I took X4, right? We had the financing news over here as well, right? We had financing news over here as well. We never lost 160, and we hit 388 today. So it's clear, right? The market is shifting towards that financing type of news, right? And BSLK is a mix of a lot of things, right? It was earnings, it was 20 million financing, right? You guys can see, let me show you guys over here. Let's see, what's it? There we go. Both projects entered non-binding term sheet to secure up to 20 million of financing. Do you guys see that? I've not been lying to you guys, right? If you guys can see how the structure has been for the past few days, it has been about financing news. Okay, obviously the degree of move is not always going to be the same. It all depends on the particular day itself. But you understand what's the reason what caused them to actually get kickstarted for a move, right? Again, do not normalize these moves over here, right? Whenever we take a trade, the main trade should be taken on the initial move. And then after that, right, if the structure is good, if it doesn't show any sort of breakdown, then you can start to be like me, saying stuff like, I'm going to offer for 8 to 10. Because you want to secure that initial move first, because this over here is not guaranteed. It's not. And if every single play you buy in and you hope for moves like that, you're going to be rate 90% of the time. Even if those positions you're in are actually up 20%. And that's not sustainable. Okay, that is not sustainable. You guys have to understand that. All right, so financing news are definitely on the on the board right now, right? But because of this move from BSLK, remember this BSLK has a mixture of three news over here, right? One of them is financing news, which is very aligned to whatever the market has been showing for the past few days, if EQ, Ento, and X4, right? Do you guys agree? Do you guys agree with me? Do you guys understand? Do you guys agree? Uh, Oh, by the way, I'm no longer holding Maya. We hit target. I trimmed some at 170s, but we lost 160. I'm closing out. That's per the plan. Okay, do you guys agree that this thing had financing news today? Do you guys see the the connection between Anto, EQ, X4, and BSLK? Do you guys see the connection? Do you guys see the connection? One person only. Do you guys see it? I can show you guys again if you guys want to see it. Right? You guys see the connection, right? So this is running on financing news. Now, but is this only running on financing news today? It's not, right? It was also running on earnings, right? It was a Q2 earnings, which is positive, good Q2 earnings. And the last one was we could say the fact that the CEO wanted to appeal for delisting. Okay. Now these are the three factors, right? These are the three catalysts today that happened. This is a fact, right? This ticker had three catalysts over here. We can never really be too sure which of the catalysts spark this move. Obviously, we cannot know, right? There's no way we could know. But looking it back at the past 2 days of price action, I would say that one of the main reasons as to why this thing made a move like that was because of this financing news over here. The algorithms are somewhat picking up the same thing, right? Or it could also be a mixture of financing and good Q2 earnings, right? And maybe this thing not a non-factor, right? So if I were to put that into perspective, okay, look at XPON. This is running on Q2 earnings news as well, isn't it? This is running on Q2 earnings news as well, right? If you look at the stuff over here, I mean, if you draw the theme, right, the relationship, okay, if I see this, right, if I see this over here, right? Oh, running on earnings, right? EPS beat, sales beat. Look at that. EPS beats, sales beat, right? So that's good. It's an increase, an improvement. And I understand that BSLK had one part of the catalyst that caused it to run to. Okay, it's not the cause, but I would say that one of the catalysts that BSLK had today was great earnings. I could try some over here in hopes that we get the same kind of algorithm move on this because it's similar. What XPON doesn't have is financing news, all right? But again, like I said, the market can never be too sure, right? The market will never be too sure as to why this is running. Is it really pure because of the financing news? No, because there was three things happened to this today. It was these three. Could be either one of them, right? But XPON had part two. Doesn't have part one, though part three, but at least there's one part of it is announcing this. And other people might think, right? Algorithms might think, oh, this thing had similar type of news, let me just fucking grab it. Right? And you get a pump up there. Is XPON a low float? It is. It's the same as BSLK. Right? It's the same. But of course, always remember this when a main runner runs, okay? When a main runner runs, it will the secondary runner that has the same type of news will never, right? Never, not I would say never, right? But I would say more often than not repeat the same kind of results. So what I'm saying is that maybe this move for XPON is that sympathy move. No guarantee it was going to go to 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. No guarantees. Maybe it goes to 3 and 4 and that's it. Okay, we have to remember yesterday BSLK also made a move. Didn't really do this move until market open today. But the thing is, right, it's very different, right? Because there was no structure that caused this to make a move like that. But everyone knows right now, right? Everyone knows right now that BSLK made this move. So a lot of people might be impatient getting XPON into doing this, that it doesn't have the right time, right setup, right time to set up itself properly for that move. So it's very different right now, right? The exposure this thing has is increased a lot because of BSLK. Because everyone, after seeing BSLK move, will always want to have that, what is the next BSLK? And when the play becomes very crowded, all right, it doesn't move as well, you don't get FOMO chasers anymore, right? You don't, in shorts are easy, they're able to take it over. You think about BSLK, right? When nobody knew this was going to happen today. And when you see a stock go from 3 to 10, right, there will definitely be FOMO buyers. I'll tell you, right? There are a lot of people that don't know what they're doing. They'll buy, think it's going to go crazy, even over here, right? Which is why we get all these squeeze move. But now that people know that this happened, right, all these FOMO buyers might be getting into X1 early, which might destroy the setup. It might not go as hard anymore. And also another factor could be because um it is only having one part of the catalyst, so it doesn't run as much, right? Maybe the main thing that still causes things to move is financing. We never know. We will never know that. So it's good for you guys to form a thesis based on what the facts presented to you guys, right? But never ever stick so strongly to one of it, right? And not respect your stop loss. At the end of the day, when you take a play, when you take a trade, every single one of them gotta have a plan. If it doesn't work out, you get out and you move on to something else, right? That cannot change because see, nobody knows why this thing went so hard like this today. I mean, what caused it to run? Shorts covering, squeeze the shorts, right? A lot of buying pressure. All these can easily be explained. But why? Why did it do that today? Nobody will ever know, right? We look back at the catalyst. There's three of them. Financing, Q2, CEO wanted to appeal for delisting. Okay, but does it mean that? But is it running because of all three mixed together, or is it running only because of financing? Right? We will never know. So you can form a thesis so you know what tickers to focus on, right? So you don't have to focus on things like SONA. You rather much focus on things like XPON, XOS because this is also running on earnings, right? But there can never be a confirmation. But at least it helps you narrows down what tickers to watch. So you don't be trading garbage tickers, and you'll be focusing on the right tickers that has potential to make moves. Make sense? Okay. All right. So let's dive down. I think most of you guys are just interested in this not ATNF, BSLK move, right? So we let's look at the BSLK. Some of you guys was asking me why was the 715 a key level breakout and stuff like that, right? And I mean, if you guys can see for BSLK, right, this one over here. One second. Yep, 690, 715, right? You can try to break out 715 with something in the 690. Very tight. I mean, you can see how nice it was, right? Let me see. Let me show you guys. It's okay. Right, 715 breakout right over here. All right, 715 breakout right over here. It was right smack at it, I think. All right, 715 on this. And all right, and then we just pop all the way up to 8 plus for a great scalp. Yeah, it was very, very nice. Yeah, it was very, very nice. And I think at this point of time, because this ticker has made such a big move, you can start to look at the 5-minute for a trend. And at this point, you can see that there's no trend being established yet. Right? Honestly, there was no trend being established over here today. The only trend I can see that's relevant is probably this 200 EMA. Right? There was really no trend being indicated today over here. You can see the 21 EMA trend, but we never really tap it too hard. So I wouldn't really consider that. So this was just again very overextended. All right. The fact that this thing already did over here, this move was already very overextended already. Right. The fact that this thing moved over here. All right. But why 715, right? Is what you guys are asking. So let me see. Okay, let me see again. Okay, so you can see now when I always tell you guys, right? One of my key levels when I look at structure on the daily chart is what? Price action separation. And you see all of you guys over here have the same amount of information as I do in the chart. Can you guys see how proper this 715 level is on the daily chart? Can you guys see? Obviously, it's not perfect, but for the most part, at least in the recent action over here, it's very relevant. You see it? Right? So Translate this to 1 minute. You got that quick pop. What happens after that? Of course, needs the market time to settle down. Okay, needs the market time to settle down. But for the first breach, right? For the first breach, that's where you want that quick pump. You want a quick push. And there you go. You got a quick scalp. And that's the reason why. Nothing complicated over here. And plus, okay, this, if you look to the left, was also at the start of a gap. Don't forget, right? You can, if you need to go back to as far as you need to retrieve all the information, please, just go for it, right? No one's telling you no for that. Okay, you look at this over here. This thing has gap all the way down to 685, which is why my stop also 690. I mean, I can say 685. It's fine. 5 cents difference. Not going to make a whole lot. Look at how well we hold onto that. You guys see that? You guys see how well we base on this before we actually fill it up? You guys have all this information just same as I do. The only problem is you guys don't chart it on your chart. This is super textbook. Very textbook. Look, look at how well it's holding on to this. Right? No, but you see, it starts with experience is one thing, yes, but do you try drawing it? Do you try looking at it? Do you guys actually look at the chart, look back, and start drawing stuff? Because gap is pretty easy to identify. It's not. Right? So yeah, if you did good, right? But you guys can see. Look at this. You guys see. Right? Look at how nice this thing was sitting at. Did we lose the gap? No. Right? We didn't lose the gap. So let's say, for example, if you're in at 715, right? You take your profits over here, 8 plus, right? And let's say you have, maybe let's say 20% left. You can take the risk to close under 685, 680. Why? Because you already buffered with profits, and even if you do close it off, you give back some profits for sure, right? You can't say there's nothing to hide about that. You're definitely gonna be giving back some profits because you're in at 715, 716, right? If you close your 20% at 680, you're taking a loss, but it's only 20% of your position. When your 80% went all the way up to 8 plus. But it should not turn you red, but you're able to at least this time not focus on the P&L, but focus on your structure. Focus on the chart structure. And let it play out. That's it. Very, very textbook. Now, obviously, not every single day we get stuff like this. But this is a textbook. This is as textbook as it gets. Very nice. No, I won't. I told you guys I never overtrade. I don't ever add more to my runners because I'm always focused on the day-to-day performance. Right? I'm focused on my day-to-day performance. I never ever need to add more and stuff because I know that this thing will not last forever and there will be something else. And we'll be on top of it. Right? So I don't want to risk destroying my average buying and then it starts knifing on you. Because you imagine, look at this, right? There will be a time where things start to top out. It's just a matter of when. Okay, at the end of the day, all these are small caps. What line indicators are you using? 21, 50, 200 EMA and VWAP, 4 lines. Do you say you look at previous day high for BLSK? Nope. BSLK, nope. What's the previous day high was 314. I didn't use this at all. Will you give us a good play now for tomorrow? No, I do not tell you this. I do not see the future. I cannot see the future. Whatever moves tomorrow, I'll let you guys know, right? We make the decision will be left for tomorrow because I react to the price action. I do not anticipate it. If I can see the future, I'll tell you guys no all in. But I do have, some tickers I'll be keeping close eyes on. Right, first one's obviously XPON, as I explained to you guys why, and you guys can clearly see, right? It's already taking into effect. You guys can understand, right? The rationale, right? You gotta have a thesis, right? Nothing is not confirmed. It doesn't have to be 100% you're right. I don't ever think I'm right, right? But it has to be something that I can relate to. It has to be something that you can relate to your watch list. You guys can see the presentation, right? The explanation as to why this thing is running. Just now, I've listed everything down for you guys. Now, you guys, if I ask you guys this right now, what is XPON running on? It's running on what? It's running on earnings, right? It's running on earnings. Is it the same? Is that what BSLK is running on today? It is. So why can't this, perform? It doesn't have to be 100% the same, but somewhat similar, at least right now, because BSLK is very fresh. This thing is fresh as well. I did not trade this on next pawn, right? I did not trade this because I'm very happy for my performance today, right? You can never earn enough money, right? So there's no need to kind of chase it and whatnot. But you guys can see the reason that understand, right? BSLK did this, same catalyst. Look at XPawn. It's doing exactly the same. It's running on earnings. You see? Over here just now is 176, is 203 right now. Right? It's exactly the same. It is exactly the same. Will it perform? Would it do exactly what BSLK would have done? I don't know. Right? I don't think so. Okay. Potential is there, yes, but I don't think so. But at least for the most part, if you guys would take this as a trade, this would have been great. Because this thing had already spun that narrative today. Might not be about financing anymore. It might just be about Q2 earnings. Because I think not only this, right? Yesterday there was this one ticker, what was that ticker name? RMBL, Rumble. This was also running on earnings. Right? This was also running on earnings. Right? It was also running on it. It wasn't that big of a scale of a move because this is not a low floater. It wasn't. It's not a D-spec name. Right? BSLK is a low floater and a D-spec name. So again, the fact that this is a D-spec might be one of the reasons why this thing made a move like that as well. The multitude of reasons, like I said, multitude of reasons. But you can never be too sure which one is going to be the one that really triggered this move. But it's good to at least form a baseline of a thesis so that you know what to be looking at. So you're not trading bullshit tickers. You're trading the right tickers that fits the theme of the market. Okay, so Paul, I'm trying to understand how you mark 715 in the chart. Let me show you one more time again. So if you look at the if we look at the chart for BSLK, there is a lot of options, right? There's a lot of options. Okay, but if I were to draw my line across a particular level that I think has a very good, I would call it price action separation. Okay, can you see over here, right? There is a lot of resistance on this line. No candle close, a lot of rejection. Paul, can you see it? And then when it's support, it acted as support. When it's resistance, it acted as resistance. Can you see it, Paul? Can you see what I'm drawing? Can you see? You can see, right? Yeah. And if I were to show you what the price is, what the price is over here, you can clearly see this is 715. That's the reason why. Price action separation on the daily chart, on the key level. And while also, entering inside the daily gap for BSLK over here. Right, the gap extends all the way into what, 685, 680, 685 for that BSLK chart, right? You look to the left, there is a gap over here, right? Let's see this one. Look at this. Okay, it goes super accurate. All right, 685, that's the one. All right, you see there's a gap between these two candles. You go over here, and you guys can clearly see, the price was kind of hugging onto that over here. Look at that. Look at this. That's just how it works, right? Price will always try to fill the gap. It's not only just you, right, Kevin? Because this is how the logic is. So whenever price enters a gap, algorithms recognize that as well, so they might try to fill it too. It's not just you. Remember, you're not the only one trading. Other people are trading it too, Other computers are trading it too. Other programs are trading it too. And they're programmed to, work this way, so they might try it. All right. I mean, you can see, look, is this perfect? Is this nice? Is this not like beautiful? This is super textbook. I mean, if you can see one, draw it. Yeah, it will give you a lot of information. Okay, all right. If not, I think you guys are not really interested in any other setups. I think this is probably the only one, right? So, let's see what happens tomorrow. I'm very happy with whatever happened today. I have a list of tickers I'm watching for sure tomorrow. Again, I would never ever, right? I'll never ever assume that XPoint will do the same thing as BSLK, but I'll be because again, remember tomorrow maybe the theme might change, right? Maybe tomorrow something else drops news at 7 onwards, and then the entire theme changes. That could happen. Remember that could happen too, right? But if we don't have any of that sort, X1 is going to be my top watch, right? We'll still, same thing, we'll secure the first few moves. And if structure is nice, if the trend doesn't break down, the volume is good, if nothing else is running, then we'll leave the rest for more. But again, I would say that BSLK really did I would say one of the reasons based on my experience why BSLK did this is really because of the fact that this thing has um you know this thing was a D-spec name. I don't think XPawn is. I think XPawn is a regular IPO, right? So maybe we wouldn't have that bit of potential. But hey, I'm okay with just even if this thing doesn't go to like 10, 20, 30, $40, I don't care. Right? Your main money's being made on the first move. All right, that's just how it is. You think back about Monday. You think about Monday, yeah? You think about Monday. Right? If you think about Monday, you're going to understand what I'm talking about. Like see over here, there's a gap as well for XPawn, right? Right? Over here from 329 to 294. Now remember, gap doesn't mean that the price when price enters the gap, it will fill. Doesn't mean that, right? The potential is there, but it's not 100% guaranteed. There are no guarantees in the market, no matter what kind of strategy you use. No guarantees in the market. Okay, but at least we know if tomorrow this thing wants to have potential, like, you know, BSLK, maybe we could see a Root 3 plus. Maybe. Not a guarantee again, not a guarantee, but we'll have to see how it performs tomorrow. Because remember, 7 a.m. onwards, news might drop, theme might change. All right, just remember that. Or something else might drop as well. That's a D-SPAC, similar news to BSLK earnings as well, and might take attention away from X1. But this is not the only small cap we'll be looking at tomorrow, right? This is one of the trickier things. MNTS is done. Nothing about it. How many monitors are you using? One. Is there a way to know when stock fills gap go up or down after that? Nope, there's no way. You watch the intraday price action. Your overnight XPON. Nope, I'm not in XPON. I'm just watching it for now. Yeah, I think it's way too early to tell if it's worth an overnight or whatnot. I mean, after hours still has like what 3 more hours? Anything can happen during 3 hours, right? Maybe SNOA is the overnight instead. Maybe XOS is the overnight instead. I mean, this one has a lot of explosive potential. I'll tell you guys that daily average is super low. Okay, the volume is very little. If this thing right now has 8 million volume, this thing is gonna explode up. The only problem is, and this is also running on earnings, right? Don't sleep on this. I would say, and this is also a low floater too. So I like XOS. I feel like XOS has potential to go crazy. Only if they find it though. Because the spread sucks. You can see, right? Now we talk about spread, right? The spread sucks. 416, 405. You see that? This is an 11-cent spread. So what this is telling you is that when you buy in over here, you're buying it at 416, but when you sell, you have to sell at 405. You're immediately losing 11 cents a share. Sure, if you buy one share, it's just 11 cents loss, correct? But if you buy 5,000 shares, you're immediately down $550. And that is not good, correct? That's not sustainable. That is just not good. But so and you see there's also a gap over here, right? For XOS. Okay, I think it filled it in a sort of sense. Okay, there's also a gap over here. I think it filled it. Maybe. Yeah, you see, look, it's rejecting that a little bit. Okay, but it doesn't matter how good or how great a setup looks, whether it's similar and whatnot. If there's no volume, it doesn't fucking matter. The thing will not move. Okay, but plays like XOS, when volume comes in, we will skip numbers because it's very, very thin. But you cannot size in for a place like this because first off, the spread sucks. Right? So that's a trade-off. Alright? It's a trade-off for stuff like this. Okay, you will never ever see me trade tickers that only have 93,000 shares. I mean, it's way too low volume. But you could I mean, this could be a kind of setup where you get in and then you hope for volume to come in because, I mean, the structure's there. Maybe someone might find it, right, and start the move. Um, but if nothing happens, then this thing is just gonna go back down. Right? Could be an interesting one tomorrow to watch for sure. Right? Could be definitely be a very interesting one to watch tomorrow for sure. I think if we have strong volume breaking over 420 something, I might take it and have my stop loss under $4. Okay, but this one again is very tricky, right? Because the spread sucks. It really is very tricky. Even if, let's say, for example, this thing really breaks 425, right? Um, it might just pop to 460 and candle close, at 460. Because this thing has very, very low volume. When volume hits this, it's gonna pump. It's kind of like how news pop works. There's no volume in it, and then when news drop, a lot of buying pressure come in, and this thing just pops up. Generally, you can never ever catch the news pop candle. So it's the same concept over here. Yeah, that's what happened to CLZ, right? So I would say that one of the reasons why yes, exactly. This is what happened to CLZ, right? So this was clearly because of my alert. I did not sell into this, okay, even though we hit my target, which is why I don't like to trade stuff like this. It's very difficult, when the room's getting bigger. When I alert something, you guys slap it, you guys reject the price up. I don't sell into you guys, So I had to wait for continued momentum to really push through. Because again, I don't need you guys to pump the stock, right? This is inorganic because I push it, but if the stock is good, it will go. I don't need you guys to push it, just like BSLK, for example, right? But this didn't have organic volume follow through and it broke down and I closed my position. It was a small size trade, as I mentioned. It was a very big spread. It wasn't the greatest, right? So it's the same thing for XOS too. If I could alert something over here, if you guys add it, maybe it pumps up, but the spread will be bad. It's just not worth taking it. Yeah, this is not worth taking. DLPN. Yeah, you see, again, another earnings news. Earnings, right? Low daily average volume over here. Now you see, right? There is so this comes to another thing, you know. Now we have so many alternatives. We have so many because of whatever happened to BSLK, right? That ran on earnings. Now we have three tickers to watch on earnings. And when that happens, what happens? Volume distribution, right? So the plays might not run as smooth anymore because we have more and more people coming up with that alternative, right? We have more options. Did we have any other options except for BSLK today? No. BSLK was literally the only one with earnings, right? There was a low floater. But today, right now, because of that, we have XPON, we have XOS, we have DLPN. So things become more distributed. It's not going to be as simple anymore. You think about this, right? When you stay in one area and there's only one restaurant, everyone's gonna go there. But when there's 3 to 4 to 5 restaurants open, you guys have choices, right? Not everyone's gonna go to the same restaurant anymore. Same thing, right? So the volume becomes diluted, becomes distributed. There will not be any focus. So that's why I say, having the same type of moves as BSLK is not gonna be as clean anymore. It's not. But it still comes down to the point where every single day you come in, you put in the work, you don't stop just because the market's slow. That's the stupidest thing to do, right? The market slow is where you guys should not stop and actually take the time to practice because there is no need for you guys to chase any sort of moves, right? And then you just focus on your setup and let the market do the work, right? Let the market tell you what's gonna run while you sit in it and respect the chart. That's all you gotta do. Nah, I mean, it could make a move tomorrow. Honestly, this or XPoint. I mean, XPoint clearly is the volume leader right now, right? BLPN is a former runner, NFT potential type name, right? But we have to see. These two, either this or XPoint tomorrow for now, right? Or maybe something change. I think I'm done. My brain has switched off for today, so I don't want to think too much. I just want to go to bed and then we'll revisit again tomorrow. Ain't no rush. Okay, all right. If not, I'll see you guys tomorrow. ATNF, no, I think I'm done with it. Is music moving right now? No, I'm done with this. Done with this. Are you still holding B? Yes. So BM now, I'm still gonna play. Okay, so again, we had a nice bunch of 70 plus today. Apparently, this thing is fucking allergic to $70. Okay, so long as the 15-minute holds on to this 55, right? You guys can grab dips and scale sell into like 65s and onwards and stuff like that. All right, so maybe you just buy into like the low 60s, 50s and stuff, and high 50s, and then sell under 55, and then sell into like the mid 60s and stuff like that. I mean, then you follow him, right? Because his style and my style is very different. All right, Frankie's trading style and my trading style is very different. Okay, that it just it doesn't have to be the same, right? Everyone has their own style. There's no right or wrong. But if it's good, then it's good. Right? They can't argue about that. Okay, if not, I'll see you guys again. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I mean, it's good to see that the market's heating up. I'm hoping for good stuff tomorrow. Again, no expectations though, right? I still remember wherever the case is, you should always still focus on the basics first. But I would say I'll be a little bit more aggressive tomorrow, right? In the sense that I might increase the share size I trade with. I might hold more for more stuff like that. But again, I have to see. We'll have to adapt accordingly. All right. Okay. If not today was a great day. BSLK was just absolutely amazing. One ticker type of day. You traded, you're done. And no need to overtrade as well. And many of you guys are asking, EOD trades, right? Chill. I mean, look at what happened to BSLK right now. Every single play that runs up will come back down. Just a matter of when. So don't chase. There's always going to be something new. And I always prefer something new. Okay? Alright, if not, I'll see you guys tomorrow. And do you play BLSH? Yes, I am in BLSH by the way, right? Around 80s. I averaged down a little bit. But for me, this is lotto size. Right? BLSH for me is lotto size. Okay, so again, IPOs are always a gamble. I told you guys this before. Um, it's always a gamble. I think, if you guys did play the IPO strategy, you could have probably scalped this from $99 to 118 or $18 move. All right, but this is a lotto for me, right? I don't see a need for me to really alert it to you guys anyway. It's lotto. But you see, this is the thing, right? I spoke to one of you guys over here, um, and you guys told me that you bought 200 shares at 98 or something, and you didn't sell it when you go to 118. And I ask you if this is a lotto trade for you. You say no, guys. This is an $18 move in 2 minutes for you. If this is not a lotto size trade, you gotta fucking take your profits. It's insane that you don't because 200 shares times $18, that's like 3,000, that's $3,600 for you in just 2 minutes. How are you not taking it? That's crazy. But because it's a lotto for me, right? I'm okay just holding on to it because it doesn't matter anyway, right? It's a lotto. Lotto means it's like buying a lottery ticket. You don't expect, you don't put your entire wealth buying a lottery ticket, right? It's more like using $2 to buy a lottery ticket and seeing whether you can hit the jackpot type shit, you know? All right. So that's it. But man, X1 is strong. X1 is very strong. I need a dip though. Fuck. Okay, but we'll see what happens. My brain is shut down for the day. All right. See you guys tomorrow. Cheers. Goodbye.